What's up, everybody? Time for another game theory video, continuing to talk what we were talking about earlier. And this isn't the best example, not the best example, but continuing what we were talking about. And it does show another layer, right? We're talking about why one button throws are better than two button throws. So we showed Alpha 1 originally with reuse stand forward, and then went over to Super Turbo, back to Super Turbo. Now let's go back to Alpha 1 again. And I just like showing Guy because I think it's interesting because the character he's a hated character in the game. And this isn't that I think that he's a bad character, but when I think about the game and more like at the utmost level and all this kind of stuff, I always think that there's just so many ways to counter his stuff and so many moves that people think are broken. You can really counter them in many different ways. So again, what did we show before, right? And again, not the best example because it's such a minuscule little caveat I want to give, but it does show the complexity of one button throws over two button throws. So again, originally we showed how Ryu's stand medium kick while throwing covers so many different options, right? So it goes through that one, hard kick, beats the other two. So you might be like, well, what about Ryu's stand roundhouse, right? So let's show this. So Ryu's stand roundhouse, it beats little kick and medium kick. However, it can lose to the hard kick, hurricane kick, right? And that's actually, technically medium kick can lose to hard kick, hurricane kick as well. And the caveat is that you're trying to throw him anyway, and these are the throwable versions. But why I'm making this video is let's assume that we're, of course, always trying to throw the guy as fast as possible, right when they get out of block stun. Now, reasonably, we can assume that we are not always going to do this perfectly, right? We might do it too fast and we can't actually throw him with the attack, right? That's where I'm getting at with this video, right? Let's assume this nuance in the back of your head, right? We're not always going to be able to throw the character as fast as we want to. We might fuck it up sometimes, or maybe we might not exactly be in range. This is the theoretical scenario I'm going with, right? Well, you got to remember, we can Kara cancel moves in these old games. We can actually, just like there's Kara cancel throws maybe nowadays when you think of two punch buttons, we can Kara cancel our throws in old games too, right? I think probably a good example would be if you're thinking games like Super Turbo or old school Street Fighter, going for throws with Ken or whatever, Ryu, inputting those sort of option selects with Dragon Punch or Throw, right? And a caveat I should mention as well, I know I put it in the comments of the first video. This is not to say that I think that option select with throw characters, especially when you did not have throw with animations, should be in games, okay? There's no reason for like Ihan to, T-Hawk to have negative edge option select throws where they are unpunishable and totally safe. That is completely nonsense that something like that should be in a game. I'm not advocating for that at all, okay? But remember, we can Kara cancel in these games. So let's just say, remember, we could do Ryu. Guess what? If we were to Kara cancel the throw with the fireball, the hurricane kick, guys, hard kick, hurricane kick, can't hit us, right? So this isn't that like theoretical scenario where I'm going to go through it, right? So again, we go to these situations where showing that guys weak to tick throw kind of stuff, boom, like this, boom. I try to beat it. Well, I'm already option selecting roundhouse. In case I did roundhouse too early and he does a hard kick, hurricane kick that can technically beat me, you know what I mean? Because I did it, too early. These are the situations I'm talking about, right? So guess what? If he did little kick here, I hard kick, hurricane kick, and I beat it. Now again, technically, you can still throw him, right? If he tries the other hurricane kicks. But it is these situations where I'm trying to say these theoretical situations where you might be like, oh, what if I did try to throw too early? Do you get what I'm getting at? Again, I know this is very nuanced, but that's what I'm trying to show. We can input these situations where like, well, fuck, it's going to beat hurricane kick. And we have this, we're like punishing him, right? And if we did it, not too early, we can throw him. Do you get what I'm getting at here? And again, I know this is it's a very nuanced conversation that I'm having, but it is possible. And what I was showing there at the end is, this also goes to show that I think I showed, what was it first? here, right? So of course you could try to throw it if you're a guy, you know, that might be a better option, but it also goes to show that you got to remember in Alpha 1, guy's fastest move, besides I guess throw, one frame, whatever, is actually his duck roundhouse. And that also gives you the opportunity to have normals that you might not normally think to beat throws, right? You might normally think you're doing jabs, but Alpha 1 is a game where they gave Guy his fastest normal is his slide, right? Now, that's a pretty dangerous move, though, to do to try to beat throws, but it is your fastest normal, right? To try to get out of tick throws. If you're worried about, you know, your fucking hurricane kick getting option selected when you're doing hurricane kick stuff, right? And to get what I'm getting at, if we look at this picture here, right? 2 button throws. What happens when a character does a 2 button throw? Every character will do the same. I whiff a grab. But if we're looking at 1 button games right here, like this right here, look at this. All of these moves are potential moves for my throw. We have Ryu's axe kick. We have Ryu's roundhouse there. We have Ryu's hop kick if he's going forward. We have Ryu's stand strong. You know, of course, stand fierce in other games. But, you know, we have Ryu's far fierce. We have Ryu's, if he tries to throw with his medium punch, he's going to get overhead. The point is, look at the potential complexity right there of how all these 6 different buttons of moves are potentially going to interact with your character, the other or the opponent trying to get out of the throw. Do you see how, and this is what I'm talking about, you know, this shows like a layer of complexity that is just not possible when you have 2 button throws. These 6 different moves can interact with every character in a different way, right? Again, I know it showed a very nuanced example here because technically the roundhouse hurricane kick is throwable. But from a certain perspective, again, we can't always be perfect. We might try to throw too early sometimes, right? And that's where an option select like this might be important because you're like, oh, well, I tried to throw too early there. You know, I'm doing my roundhouse a little bit too early. But guess what? Because we're option selecting with it, even we can make sure the roundhouse hurricane kick doesn't hit us. Again, very nuanced conversation, but it exists. And it's something that can't exist in these newer games. Remember, if you like the videos, like, sub, silly, comment, share, support the channel if you want to. Appreciate it. Thanks. The end.